Three, two, one. Ain't no money like free money. Nick
Chef's kiss.
Whitmer. Oh, wasn't it beautiful last
Yeah.
week to start throwing money in the air like we're an NBA player who just got drafted and is wearing a rented suit. And it's like, now I got some money. Now I'm going to go out and bang some whores. What a
Yeah.
weekend. 16, 10, and 1 last weekend. And
11 and 3, 8, 11 and 8, sorry.
okay, not a not
Um,
a not a
yeah,
bad run.
yeah, I'll take it. We're starting to, it sucks. I feel like now that I feel like at least I have the most understanding of the league. Like I feel like I'm seeing the league well right now. And of course there's only a
3
handful
weeks
of
left.
games left, which
Yeah.
are seven total games left in this season.
Right.
Such a bummer, but stoked for the weekend. Should we jump right in?
We shall.
We shall start on Saturday then at 4:35. The Houston Texans are at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens minus 9.5 total, 43.5. Wow. Um, what to say? I have a lot on this game. Every game. So I hit the Ravens when it was at 8.5. So sorry for giving out the stale line, but I believe the first half line is still there. I think I got it on FanDuel, 5.5. I love the first half. The Ravens. I believe you were showing these numbers to me earlier, so you probably have them right in front of you.
I
But
do.
Lamar as a favorite in the first half is just unstoppable. I like the spot for the Ravens here in the sense that they've played this team before. They just played the same system a couple weeks ago against San Francisco, and they destroyed it. So I think the Ravens are in a good spot here to win. So I like it anything under 10, but I'm very pleased with that just having 8.5. In hindsight, I wish I would have teased it when I was at 8.5, but at that point there was
Mm.
nothing there on the board to go with when I took it. So yeah, I have those two, and I also did throw in a little hedge here because I do. CJ Stroud scares the shit out of me. I put in a very small amount on the Texans money line because it's like +5 or +460 or something like that. So it's a big number. So I put a little bit on that just as a hedge because honestly, the way CJ's playing, sometimes people get hot and they just keep coasting. So it's just a small hedge on the Texans money line.
What's long, black, and purple?
Lamar Jackson's penis.
No, you pervert. The Ravens' streak of not winning a Super Bowl.
Oh,
Duh. Let's start with a familiar theme. We're gonna hammer home a lot. Home teams, Nick Whitmer, 29 and 11 straight up during division weekend. The aforementioned Lamar Jackson. Did you know he's 3-0 against the Texans? And since the new playoff method happened in, I guess that was what, 4 years ago, home playoff teams 10-6 against the spread and covering the spread by 6 points per game since 2012. Saturday home teams 28, 17, and 2. Sunday home teams 29, 41, and 2. 9 and 15 since 2020. You kind of touched on it before. I wish you touched me too in that same manner. Baltimore outscoring opponents in the first half. Oh, sorry, the first quarter, 66-19. Oh boy. They're also 14 and 3 against the spread in the first half, covering the first half margin by 8.8 points of cover margin. Although we all know the Lamar Jackson woes, 1 and 3 outright in the playoffs and against the spread, and 1 and 2 outright as a favorite. Rookie quarterbacks 5 and 1 against the spread their last 6 divisional round games since 08, including 4-0 ATS as dogs in that span, 2 and 2 outright. Texans have covered 3 straight games and 4 out of the last 5. I am not betting this 8.5. I teased it because I love them. And I hopefully I'm not going to be donking away minus 120. I teased the Ravens minus 2.5 to 2.5 with the Lions to plus half. I believe that was a 6 point teaser. And then I hit this with a 7 point teaser. Ravens down to -2, Niners down to -2.5. I don't have any other props. The only thing I have are Baltimore first quarter -2.5. Wowzer. That should be easy. And the Ravens for the first half 5.5. So Stroud does scare me, but man, oh man, when you've got a team that's all about timing and passing and not really running, and now you're going to throw them outside in 20-degree weather, that does not bode well.
No, 100%. The one stat I saw that, add that stat to my CJ fear, because I've been beaten by him several times this year, underestimating him. Um, is teams that win in the wild card round by double digits the following week, and there's actually three that apply this week: the Texans, the Bucks, and the Packers. 17-7 against the spread, and 17-4 against the spread as dogs. So they perform well coming off double digit wild card round wins. So
I'd be very curious to know if they're what the straight up numbers were as well.
Yeah, I wish I had that too. But anyway, we'll move on to the next one. The other big dog, the Packers. The Packers are now getting 9.5 in San Francisco, a total of 50.5. Do you want to start this one off?
I give the Packers the same chance of winning as I do Mike McCarthy eating a celebratory salad after he makes it to the NFC Championship game next year. No, I think a lot of people want to give the Packers credit, and they did a great job. Don't get me wrong. They absolutely boat raced the shit out of Dallas, screwing me out of 2 teasers. I don't know about Jordan Love. I mean, on the road, they're good. Rookie quarterback that plays into it too. I just think that the Niners know that this is it. Niners at home, 16 out of 22 Niner home game wins are by 12 or more points. They are 7-2 as a favorite in playoff games under Shanahan, including 4-0 as a favorite. Those are jarring numbers. They are 0-5 against the spread, their last 5 at home. They are 7-2 straight up their last 9. They are 13-3 against the spread games played in January. I have said before, tease them down to, as I said, 2.5 and 2 different teasers. Niners with the Ravens, as I had said before, 2.5. Niners, Ravens 2. Niners 2.5. Cheese with the Chiefs to plus 9.5. The Packers are a little scary. They're 21-8 against the spread and 17-12 outright as dogs under the floor, including playoffs. Playoffs. Who doesn't love seeing that commercial every single year? 6 straight Packer road games have gone over the total. Overs have hit 8-2 in Packer road games this season. 7 out of their 8 games have gone over the total. I think you know where this is going, besides right into your loving arms. I have also grabbed the Niners over on the yes, I did grab them. Was it 49? I didn't write this one down, but I did take it. I believe it was 49.5. I'm making sure I did. No, I didn't write that down. 49.5 for the over, or whatever it is right now, Nick. And I also, what do you have?
It is, let me just refresh to make sure, 50.5 currently.
I might have done 50.5 then. Okay, 50.5. Mark me down for 50.5. And I also have the Niners team total over on the alt line, 29.5. I also took George Kittle over 52.5 receiving yards because the Packers have allowed an average of 53 yards to tight ends. The Packers defense have allowed over 50 yards to tight ends 10 times this season. So Kittle over 52.5, Niners over for the game, Niners over alt line, team total 29.5, and also Niners teased twice to 2.5, paired with the Chiefs and paired with the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, Ferguson, the Dallas tight end last week, was the only player who looked amazing against Green Bay last week. I think he had at least 2 touchdowns. He had a bunch of yards, bunch of catches. So yeah, I'm on those as well. I also took Kittle's over 4.5 receptions. It was plus money as well, and 52.5. I'm also on the Niners minus 9.5. I think this is where it stops for Green Bay. LaFleur and Shanahan are very familiar with each other, and Shanahan so far always seems to have the edge. I mean, that playoff game in Lambeau in the cold where Jimmy G fucking outdid Aaron Rodgers somehow. It's like, how do you not win that one? So Packers are a young team. they played great last week, but a little over their head. And now you're going to face a well-rested and, more importantly, healthy San Francisco team. I mean, everybody's been saying this all year. If San Francisco's healthy, they're clearly the best team in the league. And right now they're healthy. I also took McCaffrey over 89.5 rush yards. Green Bay's defense is very vulnerable against the run, and I think McCaffrey being healthy, taking some time off, he's going to have a good game. He's going to be fresh, and I think he'll probably hit that by halftime, honestly. So, yep, give me the Packers and Kittle over 4.5, over 52.5 receiving yards, and McCaffrey over 89.5 rush yards.
I also forgot to mention Green Bay team total over first half, 9.5 points. Why? Because we saw it last week. The Packers took the coin flip and when they got the ball. Niners love deferring. I also took Green Bay first quarter plus 3.5 and team total. Sorry, first quarter plus 3.5. I think I said that. And over first half, Green Bay team total over 9.5. So I think if they can't get 10 points by halftime, you tell me what's wrong with that picture. I think they'll have to air it out fast, and who knows? 10 points, no problem. So
It's San Francisco's point total in the first half is 9.5.
No. Green Bay's team total over is 9.5 in
I was
the
about to
first
say there's
half.
no way. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? I'll be dumping everything I have on that.
Yeah, I was about to have a heart attack. I'm like, how did I miss that? So those are the two Saturday games. On to Sunday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at the Detroit Lions. Lions laying 6.5, total 49.5. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Lions won their first playoff game in forever. The Lions are a very popular team right now, and I've been fading them kind of all year, and I've been kind of beat. But here we go again, lining up for my SmackDown, I guess. But give me the Bucks plus 6.5. I think the Lions' defense is bad. I mean, the Rams threw all over them. If it wasn't for some questionable play calling in the red zone, I'm not sure the Lions are even in this game. So, yeah, I think I'll take the Bucks. I'm also on a ton of props here. Chris Godwin over 22.5 longest reception, and Chris Godwin over 62.5 receiving yards. These are a play against the secondary in Detroit, in particular one, their second string corner, their cornerback on the left side, I believe. Terrible, allowing like 26 yards a catch, something ridiculous this year. Rashad White under 55.5 rush yards. Detroit has a good run defense, and I don't foresee Tampa Bay trying to utilize the run very much, so I think they're going to throw. David Montgomery also under 55.5 rush yards. I think Tampa Bay's front, I mean, it shut down Philly last week, and Philly can run the ball against anybody.
It stopped the tush push cold too. I'm sure you saw that.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. So I love Montgomery under 55 as well. I mean, he's splitting carries with Gibbs anyway. And last but not least, Baker Mayfield over 254.5 pass yards. These teams played before, and Baker missed like 3 wide open receivers. 2 of them would have been sure touchdowns. One of them an 80-yarder, I think. And then the CJ Gardner-Johnson talked shit about Tampa Bay would be a good team if they had a quarterback. So now Baker is probably in pissed off cocky mode, which is always best for him. And I think he's going to throw all over them. I mean, anybody can at this point. So I like the Bucks to keep it close. Ultimately, I believe the Lions will win. But going back to my little hedges I mentioned before, with the money line with Houston, I also have Tampa Bay's money line parlayed with Houston's money line as a separate bet, just in case these dogs do upset. I think these would be the two that would do it. But I'm fairly certain the Lions will their win. But you just have to cover your bases at this time of year. So what do you have? Probably as many offensive props as I do, right?
By the way, fun fact about the Packers' run defense: they've allowed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 running backs to go over 100. Well, rushing it to yards over 100 yards. What was McCaffrey's number you said you got?
I got 89.5.
Oh, it's like 91. It's 91.5 on Caesars, but Caesars suck shit.
I believe I can tell you exactly where I got it. FanDuel posted the 89.5, and this is probably about maybe 6 hours ago now, 8 hours ago.
I'll have to jump on that. Where am I? Lions. The Bucks winning this game would be about the same chance of me getting an accidental boner watching Save It Private Ryan on a Spirit Airlines flight. Baker Mayfield is anything but consistent on the road. Ugh. I mean, he barely beat Carolina. Yes, they have a much better defense. We know that. Both teams 12-6 against the spread this year, tied for the second best behind the Raiders. They beat him. The Lions did beat the Bucks 20-6 as a 3.5 point road favorite in week 6. Bucks are 8-1 on the road this year, 9-3 as a dog. Lions are 1-7-1 in playoffs since 1993. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
one of the action guys said this was the number one song. The last time the Lions were favored in 2 consecutive playoff games was Mama Saw Santa Kissing Santa, or Mama Saw Kissing Santa Claus, or whatever the fuck. That song. So it's been, I think that was 1952. That's a long, long, long time ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, this by the way, McCaffrey 89.5 is still on FanDuel.
I'm looking at that right now. Tampa's playing well. The Lions didn't cover against the Rams. They got lucky. They got outgained. They only had one play within the Rams 35 in the second half. That's amazing. Mayfield 3-0 in the career in the playoffs against the spread. Goff 2-4. The Lions defense, pass defense, has given up 300 yards, 3 games, and 400 yards once in the 4 last games of the Lions defense. So I'm also on Baker Mayfield over. I also took Amon-Ra St. Brown over 91.5. I'm also on Godwin longest reception. I'm also on Godwin yards. I'm also on Mike Evans over 68.5. I think they're going to get on the top real fast. I'm also on the over of this game. I know it goes against everything possible stat-wise. Tampa Bay has gone under 4 out of their last 5 games, 9 out of 13 as a dog, although Detroit 7 out of 10 have gone over. I think it goes over. I know Bucks are, again, 12-6 are under. Amazing. Lions are 11-7. Something, the unstoppable force meets an immovable object kind of thing. But I think if the Bucks trying to keep it close, they got to huck and chuck. They're not going to run clock out. They're going to throw it and expose the Lions' shitty secondary big time. So I have the Lions teased to +0.5 with the Ravens -2.5, and the Chiefs teased to 8.5 with the Lions teased to a pick'em, and all those props you had plus, like I had said, Mike Evans over 68.5 yards.
Yeah. We're going to be going head to head because I forgot I have the under in this game. And under 49.5.
I have 48.5. So yay, me.
Under 49.5. You're over 48.5. Let's meet in the middle. Let's have a 49 and we'll both win. I also have a Kansas City Detroit teaser. Taking Kansas City is kind of a hedge actually with Detroit because I do like the Lions to win. I mentioned, but I tease the Lions down to -0.5 point and the Kansas City up to 8.5 as well as the under 49.5. Now our last game. This one I don't have as much on at the moment. The Kansas City Chiefs are getting 2.5 on the road in Buffalo, total 45.5. As I mentioned just now, the Kansas City teaser with Detroit. The only other thing I have here is Josh Allen over rush attempts 8.5. I think when games matter, Josh Allen runs the ball more. But listen to this stat: Josh Allen is 26-1 against the spread. Against teams allowing 20 points per game or less.
Wait,
so
say
the best defense
say that again. Say that one more time.
Josh Allen, 20 wins, 6 losses, and 1 push against the spread against teams allowing less than 20 points per game. In the last 20 years, there's 3 guys on that list. Tom Brady's number 1, Josh Allen is number 2, and Peyton Manning is number 3. So he's in rarefied air here. So he has good defense. He has good games against good defenses is the point of this. And he scares me, so I'm leaning Buffalo here. I haven't taken it yet. I probably will end up on the -2.5. I think I'm going to wait to see how the weekend goes, also, because this is the last game. But I love it at this point the rush attempts for Josh Allen. Like I said, he's a gamer. When the game's on the line, he runs the ball more. So yeah, that's what I have for this one. Not much yet, but probably a little more later. How about you?
Roger Goodell hates Buffalo like he hates Asians. I don't know that he does. That's just the rumor going around in the gay bathhouses. Why would you? Thank you. Why would you make Buffalo play the late game when all the dome teams are playing in the early game? This is the kind of torture what it must be like for a non-Italian to sit in a Sebastian Maniscalco show. Holy shit. We'll make these people freeze their dicks off again? Okay. Mahomes 10-5 in his playoff career, including 7-2 against the spread when he is not at least a 7-point favorite. Josh Allen 3-6 against the spread in his playoff career. Mahomes 16-8-1 in his career when the line's between +3 and -3. Chiefs have covered 3 straight games. 4 straight Chief games have gone under. Josh Allen, double-digit rush attempts in each of his last 4 games. What's the number? 8.5. Hey, good pick by, was it your English Johnny? I forgot that one.
I think I took it yesterday.
Right. One of you
I
guys
don't
gave
remember.
that.
I didn't.
One of you guys gave that to me. Bills
I'll
won.
take credit since
Yeah.
he's not on the show. It's
Yeah.
just me. You
Yeah. If he's 5 hours behind, fuck him.
know.
Oh, sorry, 5 hours ahead. Excuse me. Excuse me. Bills won the first time. I mean, the Bills offense is so broken, but also we know this too. I mean, they beat the Steelers, your Pittsburgh Steelers. Sorry about that. I had +10. I know you did too. They also lost Rocky Bernard, the linebacker. They have a scoring system. I forgot. Dr. So, I'm sorry, I'm butchering the guy. Dr. So-and-so. They have like a score for when it comes to health of NFL teams. The healthiest team this weekend, the Kansas City Chiefs. The least healthiest, below average health, the Buffalo Bills. You're going to give me 3 points with Patrick Mahomes. He just froze his dick off and whipped the shit out of the Miami Dolphins. Why can't he freeze his dick off this time and at least cover, if not win, against the Bills? That game could be easily 21-20. I don't care who wins. That means I win. I'm also inclined to think I may get a little cute. Depends on how I do. I may sprinkle a little bit on that Kansas City money line. Something you think Buffalo has a time to win. It's got to be their time sooner or later. Mahomes has never had a road playoff game. Well, guess what? They seemed to figure it out last week. Kelsey's pretty healthy. Didn't have to use him that much because it was a blowout. I have the Chiefs +3. I also have the other prop. I have to log this one in too. Josh Allen to throw a pick. No, it did not hit last week, but you know what? That pass defense of Kansas City is a hell of a lot better than the who they play and blow. Oh, Pittsburgh last week. Yeah, I'm gonna get on the Josh Allen to throw a pick. I'm also gonna get back on and it hit again last week. The Chiefs second half under 22.5. More stats for you. Of course, I have some. The Chiefs have gone second half under 16 out of 18 games this year. Buffalo second half has gone under 8 out of 10. Gonna be cold, gonna be shitty. What does that mean? Run. Got the Chiefs +3. Have the Chiefs +9.5. Tease with the Niners -2.5. Have the Chiefs +8.5. Lions to a pick. Josh Allen over 8.5 rushing attempts. And I'm going to take Josh Allen to throw a pick. You bet your ass.
What number did you get for the second half total?
22.5. Even money right now on FanDuel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, on DraftKings. Excuse me.
I'm gonna take it.
Here's a question for all you math nerds out there. So, Caesars is offering 20. What was it? What did I say? 26.6. Is it? I think. Let me look right now. Hold on a second. Pre-production meeting live on air. You got it. 20. Yeah. So 24.5, but -160. But that 24.5 includes overtime. Is that just the books trying to rape us? Math nerds, figure that out. I think it is. That's why I just took the -22.5 at even money.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought so too. So that's what I have for this game.
Yeah, that's the week. We can recap real quick. For me, I took the Niners -7.5, the Ravens -8.5, the Bucks +6.5, the Ravens first half line of -5.5, and the Texans money line. I also have Tampa Bay, Detroit under 49.5, KC, Buffalo under 22.5 second half. A couple of parlays. I took the Texans and Tampa Bay money line as an underdog parlay. Money line parlay, and I also did the Ravens, Niners, Lions money line parlay. And as for teasers, Kansas City and Detroit, Kansas City to 8.5, Detroit to a 0.5 point, And here comes all of these props. Chris Godwin over 62.5 receiving yards. Chris Godwin over 22.5 longest reception. Rashad White under 55.5 rush yards. David Montgomery under 55.5 rush yards. Baker Mayfield over 254.5 pass yards. George Kittle over 4.5 receiving or receptions. George Kittle over 52.5 receiving yards. Christian McCaffrey over 89.5 rush yards, and Josh Allen over 8.5 rush attempts. I love overs on props. Very rarely do I take unders. I have a couple unders here, but I like to find the matchups that favor the thing and pick the over if the line's right, rather than trying to hope for someone not to have someone in coverage fall down, or a guy misses a block and all of a sudden your under's crushed by one play. Happens all the time. Whereas I'm about 60% on the nose on props this season, and taking mostly overs. So
Cool in the gang. Okay, we're gonna go with the teasers. That's why I started off with first. Chiefs plus 9.5. Tease with the Niners minus 2.5. Lions plus 0.5 point. Tease with the Ravens minus 2.5. Niners minus 2.5. Ravens minus 2. That's a 7-point teaser. Chiefs minus 8. Sorry, Chiefs plus 8.5. Lions pick. Bucks over 48.5. Josh Allen over 48.5 rushing. George Kittle over 52.5 receiving. Mike Evans over 68.5 receiving. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 91.5 receiving. Kansas City plus 3. Kansas City second half under 22.5. Godwin over 62.5. Godwin longest catch 22.5. Baker over 255.5 passing. Green Bay over 50.5. Green Bay team total over first half plus 9.5. Green Bay first quarter plus 3.5. Baltimore minus 2.5 first quarter. Baltimore minus 5.5 first half. Niners team total over 29.5 alt line. McCaffrey 89.5 rushing. Thank you. And Josh Allen to throw a pick, by the way, which is minus 110 on DraftKings. Grab it. That will do it for this week's division weekend, Nick Whitmer. I'm excited. You should feel these nipples. That's for sure. And we'll see you at the window.